Happy Veterans Day. And I want to tell you about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. For anybody who is not aware about the history of how the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier came about and the details of how the walk in front of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So this video is dedicated to sharing the information about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in honor of all veterans who served and the sacrifices of those who sacrificed the ultimate price, their life. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is the heart of Arlington National Cemetery and is the final resting place for 3 unknown service members who fell in battle across World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. It is indeed a sacred site. It's woven into the fabric of American heritage. Its origins are rooted in the war that put the United States on a global stage. April 1917, the nation entered the Great War. Congress declared war on Germany. Troops arrived in Europe in June. And by Armistice Day, November 11th, 1917, 116,700 United States service members died. Technological advances in warfare resulted in unprecedented casualties, the global death toll approaching 10 million. Commemorative efforts arose out of the boundless grief that enveloped the globe. France and Great Britain were first to begin the process of choosing one of their unidentified fallen soldiers to be buried with honors to represent the vast number of those who died. The British buried their warrior in Westminster Abbey, and the French buried theirs at the base of Arc de Triomphe on November 11, 1920. By December 1920, Hamilton Fish Jr., who was a New York congressman and a World War I veteran, proposed legislation to enter one of America's unknown soldiers at a tomb that would be built at Arlington National Cemetery. He said the tomb was intended to bring home the body of an unknown American warrior who in himself represents no section, creed, or race in the late war, and who typifies, moreover, the soul of America and supreme sacrifice of her heroic dead. Congress approved the legislation on March 4, 1921, and on Memorial Day, 1921, the bodies of 4 unknown American soldiers killed in combat were exhumed from American military cemeteries across France. Thousands of visitors paid their respects before the casket was moved to Arlington National Cemetery for burial in November 1921. On October 24, 1921, Sergeant Edward F. Younger of Headquarters Company, 2nd Battalion, 50th Infantry, stood before the 4 unknowns in identical caskets at the City Hall at Chalon-sur-Marne, France. Given the task of choosing who would be buried at Arlington National Cemetery, Younger placed a spray of white roses on the 3rd casket from the left. So that's how the beginning of the white roses were used that you now see every day, 365 days a year. The casket was transported aboard the USS Olympia, which arrived at the Washington Navy Yard on November 9, 1921. Upon arrival, the unknown lay in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, with about 90,000 visitors paying their respects during the public viewing on November 10, 1921. On November 11, 1921, the unknown was transported from the Capitol to Arlington National Cemetery by horse-drawn procession. A state funeral presided over by President Warren Harding held at the cemetery's new memorial amphitheater. During the ceremony, President Harding placed the Medal of Honor on the casket, with subsequent foreign dignitaries presenting their nation's highest honors. A reciprocity extended to similar symbolic interments across many Allied nations. The unknown soldier was interred later that day, with the tomb then consisting of a single marble slab. After Congress approved legislation to incorporate a more detailed tomb design on July 3rd, 1926, a design competition, ultimately the winning design came from Lorimer Rich and Thomas Hudson Jones. It was created from a slab of Colorado marble. The tomb is designed in the Viau art style, featuring 3 figures representing peace, victory, and valor on the east panel, sculpted wreaths on the north and south panels, and an inscription on the west panel reading, "Here rest in honored glory an American soldier known but to God." The new detailed tomb was dedicated in 1932. Soldiers were first stationed to guard the tomb in 1926, mainly to keep the visitors from stepping on it. In 1937, the duty became more aligned with the stirring ceremony that we know today. Sentinels belonging to the 3rd U.S. Infantry regime, known as the Old Guard, which was established in 1784, making it the longest-serving active-duty infantry unit in the United States Army. Those eligible to stand guard go through rigorous training, and only a fraction ultimately make the cut. Selection as a sentinel is the second least awarded decoration in the United States Army. After World War II, interest rose in laying one of that complex unknown to rest at Arlington, and the measure was approved by Congress in 1946. While interment was set for Memorial Day 1951, the Korean War stopped these plans. So ultimately, unknown soldiers from both conflicts lay in state were awarded the Medal of Honor and interred in the plaza of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier simultaneously on May 30th, 1958. President Eisenhower laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown on May 30th, 1958. On Memorial Day 1984, an unknown soldier from the Vietnam War was interred. However, following advances in DNA testing in 1998, the remains were identified as Air Force First Lieutenant Michael Joseph Blassie, and his family wanted him exhumed from the crypt. Throughout its 100-year existence, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier has stood as symbol of all missing and unknown soldiers. The Defense Prisoner of War Missing in Action Accounting Agency remains dedicated to recovering and identifying lost soldiers from years past and from all conflicts the United States has had a role in. In the meantime, the tomb provides comfort for those loved ones who may never find answers. The tomb is guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, in all but the most extreme of weather conditions, such as intense lightning or a hurricane that threatens the safety of the sentinel. Guards do not wear a rank while performing their duty, ensuring they do not outrank the soldiers laid in the tomb. A guard's patrol is precise. 21 steps, turn and face the tomb for 21 seconds. About face. Shift arms and hold for 21 seconds. 21 steps back to the starting point. The symbolic number is tied to the 21-gun salute, which is a centuries-old international military tradition signaling the highest of honors. Every hour during the winter and every 30 minutes during the summer, a choreographed changing of the guard occurs. Each day, guest organizations lay wreaths before the tomb in special ceremonies. And this year is the first time that a woman received the badge as she did her final walk at the tomb. That was, in fact, very special, historic. So that is the facts on the unknown tomb. I hope you have a blessed, had a blessed Veterans Day. And I always say Happy Veterans Day for even those who wanted to serve, but for whatever reason, they tried and they intended to do to sign up, but for whatever reason was not allowed to serve. Maybe it was medical reasons or whatever. I say thank you to even them too, because they were willing. And that's it for this one. Hope you have a blessed day.